Hi guys, welcome to the game 10 of the match between Garry Kasparov and Vishwanathan Anand in 1995. In this match, we're going to see a lot of beautiful ideas, strategic movement of bishop, traps and meeting too. So let's dive into it. This game, Garry Kasparov is playing the white spaces. Yes, this is the game 10, it's an even number. So starting from game 1 to game 8, Anand started attacking with the white spaces. So every odd number Anand plays, every even number Garry Kasparov plays. So from game 1 to game 8, we had series of draws and repetition of openings. In the game 9, Vishwanathan Anand drew the first blood, and that gives a direction of the match. It gives us clearly that somebody came here to win, which was Vishy the Tiger. Now in game 10, will Garry Kasparov bounce back? Will there be a win? If so, let's anticipate in this beautiful game. Garry Kasparov started with pawn to e4, e5 by Vishwanathan Anand, knight to f3, knight to c6, bishop to b5. This is the Spanish game, the Rue Lopez. a6, Murphy's defense attacking the bishop. Bishop goes back and have freedom coming back home through this diagonal. Bishop to a4, knight to f6, attacking the pawn. White castles. Knight takes the pawn on e4, d4, going for center attack. b5 follows, attacking that bishop. Bishop to b3, d5. Pawn takes on e5, bishop to e6. Knight on b to d2, knight to c5. After c3, this bishop is actually defended by the knight, the pawn, and can also retreat. After c3, d4 follows. Knight to g5 comes up. In this position, there might be a variation where this knight is not free. These games are played by a grandmaster. I should try showing you, but I want to keep it as a suspense. Try and figure it out on your own. Let's say this is a position where I'll tell you, pause the video and try to figure out the best move or the best continuation for black. Well, let's continue. The game is 38 moves long. Pawn takes on a3, knight takes on e6, attacking the queen, attacking the bishop. So this knight is a matter of urgency. Pawn takes on e6, pawn takes on c3, since that pawn was attacking the knight. Queen to d3. This move is superb. I like this move because you see this queen is now very sharp and active than this white queen. At this point, this queen is attacking this pawn, threatening to capture this pawn, and is here to support the knight in causing havoc in white's camp. Well, bishop to c2. I was anticipating a move like probably queen. Yeah, queen guards this and still offering queen exchange. Well, there's nothing big and there's no big deal because knight will just take this pawn and the game can continue from here like this. However, in the game, after bishop moves to c2, attacking the queen, queen takes pawn on c3, placing the queen on a square where it doubles attack a pawn and a rook. What to do? Garry Kasparov is in a tight situation. As a matter of fact, he's losing. He has lost a pawn. Yeah, let's check it out. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now this pawn is almost going to fall soon. That means he's going to lose to pawn. Vishwanathan Anand came fully prepared to fight for the PCA title, as at then the world title was under PCA, Professional Chess Association. So the game went on after knight to b3, still opening up room to take the pawn. Well, knight takes on b3 first. Bishop takes on b3, placing this bishop on this nice diagonal. Now, this bishop is very active. At this point, black does not have a light squared bishop to counter this bishop at the moment. So maybe knight could do the work or knight can do the work. Let's see. After knight to d4, coming to remove this light squared bishop. Queen to g4, activating the queen and going for activities towards the black king. Queen takes the rook on a1. Anand collects more material. In this position, Kasparov went for bishop takes the pawn on e6. This is an idea where if knight takes that bishop in a hurry, there can be a check from the queen first. You see, this move is not too tricky, but see, if the king goes to a dark square in this position, a discovered attack from the bishop hitting the king, opening up the rook to attack the queen, will just happen on the board instantly. In a position where it seems as if white is down material and is losing, he's still looking for counterplay. You see, you can learn this from Master's game. Well, let's come back to the initial position after bishop takes. Okay, let me just quickly chip in something here. In this position too, if king did not go to a dark square, let's say the bishop now block, there's a threat on this board. Yeah, and that threat comes up instantly after bishop goes again to g5. This is a threat of checkmate. You see, is either going to lose the queen or there will be a checkmate on the board. So if the king runs, probably for safety's sake, you see, there can be a bishop takes first, check. King would move, a discovered check from the queen, all this kind of stuff. After this check, it goes in, there's a checkmate. You see, these ideas are valid on the board, but let's say Anand came prepared actually. So in this position, Anand says he's not going to take that bishop right away. He's not going to take it by his moves actually, not verbally. Well, what did he do? He went on with rook. Now, before he played this rook move, let me talk about something. You see, the variation I showed earlier talked about knight taking and how it led to like a checkmate sequence and an open discovery on the queen. If I take it back and I talk about spotting the queen under attack and trying to keep the queen safe, maybe putting the queen somewhere here, you see, this one also has a way of punishing black for this. And it starts with a variation where bishop checks the king first. You see, if king goes to d8, like running for safety, bishop comes in again with check to the king. If the bishop blocks on e7, bishop takes bishop check, king takes the bishop, luring the king to the open. Then the white queen can penetrate by taking this pawn here. We check. This smells trouble all through. In this case, bishop covers this square, pawn covers pawn, and queen is giving check to the king. So if he moves up, you can see bishop to g4, opening a room so that the queen can come over to d7 and make a checkmate. Now knight check, king would move, not taking, not to remove your bishop from this active diagonal. Queen to d4, defending. In this position, many things will fall. Check this out. Many things like queen takes the rook first will check on h8. King to e7 will come up. Now, is that you take this or you play a check. You see, one thing with experienced players is that they look for safety first and they try keeping their pieces safe. They are greedy to a lot of extent because of the zeal to win. Now this is a check. So king moves to e8. You can now see the next continuation. Bishop takes the knight. With this loss of materials enough in a world championship game, white can win the game from here and black can go ahead to resign. So in the game, seeing that saving the queen and bringing the queen away from attack, a discovered attack, might lead to series of losing variation for black. And at the same time, taking the bishop can lead to losing variation for black. Vishiana needed to find the best move at the moment to still keep him in the game, fighting against Garry Kasparov, playing the white pieces with massive attack. So he played this move that solves all the problem. So defending and keeping the eye on this particular square, at the same time you are still prepared to bring the queen out. So the game continued after bishop comes out. This is a sacrificial move. In fact, this is also shocking. I was anticipating bishop coming over to g5 in the first place, but when I saw this move, I was like, wow, what a move in a world championship match. Garry Kasparov played this in 1995. Guess what? This move opens a discovered attack on the queen, so cannot be captured. So if you look at it, pawn takes bishop, rook takes the queen, is winning. In fact, materials, the idea here is visible enough. You can see clearly that white is winning. So in this case, what happened? Vishwanathan Anand went for queen to c3 instead. So after queen to c3, okay, let's talk about another idea again. When pawn took the bishop, apart from rook taking the queen, there's also a threat of checkmate. Let's look at it together. In this position, we can simply see idea like queen to h5 check first. Let's talk about this. What do you think black would do? Black has only one square. Bishop covers these light squares. So the dark square is the only escape route, and queen goes to f7 is checkmate. See the idea in a world championship match. I believe you see how dangerous Garry Kasparov is against Vishwanathan Anand. And Vishwanathan Anand is not just a mere chess player, they are both super chess players. So let's take it back here and continue from here. In this position, what did Vishanand did? He played queen to c3. Yeah, queen to c3 is the move. So this game continued after bishop. This game continued after bishop takes the pawn on g7, thereby trapping this rook. Rook is now trapped. If bishop takes, there'll be trouble on the board. Same variation will come up after queen check. If king comes here, there's checkmate. If king comes down, there is checkmate. So keeping the game alive and still fighting on the board, he went on with queen to d3. In this position, here comes a continuation with bishop takes the rook. Here, queen goes to g6, bishop to f6. After bishop blocks, here bishop takes the bishop, queen takes queen on g4, bishop takes on g4, king takes on e7. So rook comes up to c1, activating the rook to an active square and preparing to take the pawn with check. c6 follows, defending. f4, very important, opening a room for the king to run to avoid any back rank checkmate. a5 follows. Now Vishwanathan Anand decides to push his pawn majority on the queen side with the hope to create a pass pawn that can become a queen or promote one of the pawns. Here, king to f2. The king is a fighting piece in the endgame, so it's very important for you to activate your king. So a4 follows, king to e3. After pawn to b4, bishop to d1, attacking this particular pawn. So it made Vishwanathan Anand to play pawn to a3. g4 follows, rook to d4. Immediately, Garry Kasparov saw that he has neutralized the threat on the queen side. Yeah, that black is trying to promote one of these pawns. He now decided to push. He now decided to push his own pawns to to have the same interest of bringing the stronger force into the game. Here, rook to c4, piling up pressure on the knight and the pawn at the same time. A strong, powerful attack. This pushes c5, making the rook on d5 undefended. So king to e4 comes up. In this position, we cannot try, or let's say there cannot be an idea with king here because of this pawn push check. You get it? With this pawn push check, the rook will be gone after the king moves back. This will be captured. In this position here, rook was actually moved instead of the king. So the rook was moved back to safety, which left this pawn undefended. So Garry Kasparov took a beautiful pawn there. Yummy. Knight to a6, attacking the rook, opening an attack on the bishop. You must always put in mind your pieces needs to be observed before you make your own move. Always check the board carefully. So this attack needs one reply that will keep your pieces safe. So Garry Kasparov displayed that here by placing the rook on d5. Rook to c8 comes up, f5 follows, kicking out the knight. Rook comes up, we check on c4. King to e3, then knight follows to c5. After pawn to g5, this pawn majority is just too strong here on the king side. Yeah, and this pawn alone cannot support the king to hold on to these pawns. Although the rook can still be active, but moving the rook as at now will keep this particular knight undefended and the knight will be captured. Then how do you think black can continue here? Well, black tried an idea with rook to c1 in the sense that if maybe anything happens with rook moving away, then he can capture the bishop. Here, rook to d6 comes up. In this point, you will notice that the rook is now defended by a pawn. None of black pieces can reach it at the moment. Then with the threat of this pawn push, move, and so on and so forth, trying to promote one of the 3 pawns. In fact, keeping this here, trying to promote one of the 3 pawns is an idea. And at the moment, the black king is cut out from the game completely. No participation. These pawns will fall in no time. Bishop will be activated and so many activities will happen. In this position here, as you can see the dominance on the board with more activities for white. White won this game. Garry Kasparov secured his first victory. Equalizes with the game 10 against Vishwanathan Anand in 1995 in the PCA World Championship, Chess World Championship match. So don't mind me, I was too engrossed with looking at the game and talking about what I feel about the game. Well, thank you for watching. I really like the way you guys enjoy watching this content. If you wish to see more championship covers like this on this channel, use the comment section. You can drop ideas in the comment section, then I will look through it together and have fun while we enjoy the beautiful game we all love. Thank you for watching this video. Stay tuned for more videos on the match between Garry Kasparov and Anand on this channel, played in 1995 in New York. Till then, stay safe.